a lot of pastors teach we would be considered so-called Gentiles, right? So my question to the panel is, how do you prove that someone of myself or the rest of the people are here are Gentiles? And how do you prove that the people that are in the land of Israel today that claim to be God's chosen are just that?
Galatians chapter 3, Paul speaks about God visiting a man by the name of Abraham. And Paul says that his visitation of Abraham was 430 years before the law. That is 430 years before he called Moses and the nation of Israel out of Egypt. And this is what Paul says. He says in chapter 3, verse 5, he says, "So then does God give you the Spirit and work miracles among you by your doing the works of the law, or is it by believing what you heard? Just like Abraham, who believed God and it was credited to him for righteousness, you know then that those who have faith, these are Abraham's sons. Now the scriptures saw in advance that God would justify the Gentiles by faith and proclaim the gospel ahead of time to Abraham, saying that all nations will be blessed through you. Consequently, those who have faith are blessed with Abraham, who had faith." Now, I go on, but the fact is that Abraham wasn't a Jew. Abraham was a Gentile. Abraham is the...
First of all, I got to stop it right there. I'm sorry. I was going to let it play out, but first I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. Now, why did I say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Because that's the royal bloodline. Right? Despite what this moron is trying to convey, all right, he doesn't have a clue of what the scriptures is. A lot of these people, they go up there, they talk their shit, they don't have a fucking clue. Why? Because it wasn't given the code. Now, I said this at camp one time, and it's true. We at GMS are the code breakers. All right, this is why a lot of people, it goes over people's head. Right? So he just made a foolish statement. A patriarch. All right? The forefathers. Now, Abraham had more than one son, but the Lord was only concerned about the one son, but he had other children. All right? Abraham had other children, and Isaac had Esau. So where this guy is saying the things that he's saying is this is what the church wants you to believe, that you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are natural born Gentiles. They want to push that narrative out there because if they tell you the truth, their handlers, the ones that run everything, the ones that's paying them. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. I just had it in my head. Is it 11? I was gonna go to that one. St. John 11, I think it's 11. Let me just type it in. I was getting mixed up. I know it was, 11 and 45. 47, sorry. Matter of fact, I said 46. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them the things Yahushua had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees and the council. The Pharisees a council. And they said, what do we For this man have doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. So their concern was their placement. Their concern was the power that they had over their own people. Just like these fools of today, these people that's in a position of power or a position of influence, but they got juice, all right? They want to maintain that power that was granted to them. So they will not tell you the truth. Well, there's no benefit in that. All right. They don't want to lose their place. That's why these advocates, these Christians and apologists and all these other people are trying their damnedest hell to remove the people and have the people go back to that Gentile state. And what they'll said, if you're not gathering, you're scattering. So let me get that. Let's see. It should be then. That's not it. I probably did it wrong. It's roughly paraphrased. I'm just gonna quote it. That if you're not helping him gathering, you're helping him scatter. You're scattering. So this thing of ours is not about scattering. It's about gathering whom? The elect of the nation of Israel. The Lord's not concerned with the majority of his people. So for the man to make a statement as saying that Abraham himself was a Gentile, he earned not knowing the scriptures. Before, yes, Abraham was not a Jew. All right. There's 12 tribes, but he's a forefather. And another thing that they failed to understand: reincarnation. Okay, reincarnation is real in the scriptures. So if a man, matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Isaiah 34 and 17, it says, he have cast lots. Sorry, he have cast a lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever, from generation to generation shall they dwell therein. And what is that thing that they regathered, or they will have? Who they are? And they're always going to come back as Israelites. Israelites are always going to come back as Israelites. All right. So even though our forefathers, before the name Israel came about in the spirit, they was always the sons of God. All right. There was always the sons of God. That was the whole premise. So Abraham would come back in the line of the sons of God. All right. Isaac would come back in the sons of. Matter of fact, let me get that. I'm going a little off subject, but work with me here because it's funny. Sirach. I haven't read it in a while, dude. Wow, this is my favorite too. 24. Is it 24 or 21? No, it's 24. Sirach 24, and it's not talking about wisdom. I must give the claimer right off the top. It's talking about the Lord Yahweh Shai. But in the context of everything, Sirach 24, I start at 1. Wisdom shall praise herself and shall glory in the midst of her people. And the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth and and tri- trumpet or triumphant before his power. I've come out the mouth of the Most High. I covered the earth as a cloud. Now that right there, the precept of that, St. John, get that real quick. The 3 and 1 or is it 1 and 3? No, I believe it's I just want to go to the point. It says, John 1 and 1 and 3. And all things are made by him. Without him, it was nothing. It was nothing. Sorry, there was not anything made that was made. Matter of fact, I started one. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High, and the Word was a power. So the Lord created Yahweh Shai by word, and he created another God. All right. The same was in the beginning with the Most High, which is talking about whom? Yahweh Shai. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. So without Yahweh Shai, there was nothing exists. Colossians, real quick, 1 and 14. It says in 114, 115. Who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature? Talking about Yahweh Shai, or the word Igni called Jesus. For by him were all things created that were in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. All right. So there you go. The Lord was a word. The word was at the beginning with the Lord. Okay. And it says, verse 4, I dwelt in high places by the by my throne. That is all right. And my throne is in the cloudy pillar. I alone can pass the circuit of heaven and walk in the depths of the sea. Um, Proverbs 18 and 10. Is it 18 and 10? No, no. Yeah, I think it's 18. I'm not gonna get it. I'm just gonna quote it. Who have ascended and descended? What is his name? What is his son's name? Right? It says, in waves of the sea, in all earth, and every people, nation, and nation, I got a possession. Nation meaning one. With all these I sought rest, and whose inheritance shall I abide? So the creator of all things, showing that is a different entity, all right, a different person, all right. He created the Lord, and the Lord came to him and said, so the creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he made me cause my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thy inheritance in Israel. So the Lord created all things. He still had to come through men. And his lot was that royal line. And he created me from the beginning before the world, and I shall never fail. And that's talking about the Lord himself, Yahweh Shai. So there's reincarnation. There's the Lord put certain people in certain position, and they will always remain in that position. You always gonna, if you was born an Israelite, you always gonna be an Israelite. If you was a son of God in the ancient world, you was gonna be an Israelite. You still the son of God. All right. If you were the progenitors, the forefathers of the Israelites, you will become an Israelite. It's that quite simple. So what this bozo is saying is off, which is not surprising.
Who do you think is more evil?
I'm 56.
Who do you think?
Heard a lot of pastors.
So there you go. That's one.
Who had faith? Now I go on and on, but
Yes, Abraham did have faith, but faith without works is dead. All right, it tells you that in James. I'm gonna have to skim through because I didn't know I was gonna read all that stuff. So Abraham had faith, and he also had the works behind that. Okay, so yeah, before the laws was established and were written on stone, they were speaking the laws orally. The Lord is not gonna pick Abraham just to say, "Oh, this is my guy." Nah, Abraham showed faith. Okay, he showed an utter faith. This is why the Lord gave him such a beautiful title, Isaiah 41. because he trusted in him. It says Isaiah 41:8, but thou, Israel, art my servant. Right there, that cuts every narrative that these people try to say. Israel is the Lord's servant. The bloodline of the Israelites always been and always shall be the Lord's servant. That would never change. Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed, singular, of Abraham, my friend. So you can sit there and try to spin it and say like, oh, Abraham, this, no. Abraham was the Lord's friend because of what? Abraham had faith. He did accordingly to what the Lord wanted him to do.
Who had faith. Now, I go on and on, but the fact is that Abraham wasn't a Jew. Abraham was a Gentile. Abraham
Wrong.
is the person.
Gentile just means country dweller. So outside of Israel. All right. And I just proved that it's about the bloodline. It's about if your spirit. If your spirit is the sons of God, you will come back as an Israelite.
Out of which the progenitor.
Because why? The main top guy, which was the Lord himself, he had to go through man. He had to come through man. All right. He found dwelling his rest in Israel.
Out of which the nation of Israel ultimately came. And so, according to scripture, the idea of God is to bring salvation to all nations. That's what the
Wrong. Salvation was not granted to the nations. All right. It was the Lord. You know, these whatchamacallit, these idiots, they will never get it. Romans 11:33 to the point. No, sorry, 30. No, actually 26. I haven't read it in a while. I started 25. For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceit, that the blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away the ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them when I shall take away their sins. And what is a covenant? It's an agreement, a contract. So the agreement, a contract that the Lord had with his people stand. All right. And the blood of Yahushua solidified that even more. Because he came to take away the ungodliness out of Jacob. All right. Which is what? The sins that Jacob commit by breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. All right. So there's no possible way other people is involved of a covenant that was started with the Lord's people in the wilderness when nobody else was involved. All right. This was a blood oath, a blood contract with witnesses. When you have you commit a contract, especially back then, you had to have a witness. All right. And that witness, Deuteronomy 33, was it 32? Right. There's two of them actually. Deuteronomy 33. Let me start at 32. 32 and 1. It says, give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as a small rain upon the tender herb, as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of Yahweh, ascribe ye greatness unto our power. He is the rock His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, and the Most High a power of truth, without iniquity, just and right is he. So when Moses spoke, who was witnessing? The heavens, right? Deuteronomy 33:1. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of the Most High, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, the Lord came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000 of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Yeah, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Everyone shall receive. Everyone shall receive of thy words. Who's the everyone? The everyone is Israel. Point blank. Period. This does not involve everybody else. Psalms 137. Is it 137? I'm sorry. Get the 147. Been a minute. It says, he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgment, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So his word was given to Jacob. The other nations, they have not known him. All right. Why should they know him? They was never part of him from the get-go. Hebrews 13 and 17. Oh, sorry. 13 and it's been a minute. Forgive me. No, it's Hebrews 13, but where are you? Oh, right in front of my face. Hey, it says Yahushua Mashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. What's the precept of that? Malachi 3 and 6. The Lord changed not. All right. The Lord never attended for the other nations to get this word. It was all Israel. Yeah. Israel became
Who do you think is more?
Heard a lot of pastors.
Israel became heathens. All right, because they couldn't keep it. But that does not change the fact that Israel, the Lord only dealt with Israel from the beginning and end. Let this thing.
So the Messiah's coming was not just to save Hebrews or Jews; it was to save all nations.
Bullshit. Matter of fact, hold on. Basic Hebrew 101. Matthew 15 and 24. Let's get that. It says, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right. Notice he didn't say Judah, Benjamin, Levi. No, the northern kingdom. It's the house of Israel. The house of Israel consists of all 12 tribes. So he was not sent but unto the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. See how the world, they try to, what's the word for it? They're trying to put the Lord in a broader scale when the Lord really came for his people. All right. Matthew 1 and 21. It says, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua, because there's no J's in the Hebrew. All right. And it says, for he shall save his people from their sins. For he shall save his people from their sins. He shall save his people from their sins. So the world is not his people. It's like Abraham's not everybody's father on the planet Earth. All right. There's specific Shemites that came from Abraham, but it was only one line that the Lord was concerned about.
I do. Yeah. I'm 50. Who do you think is heard a lot of pastors?
These pastors are full of shit, by the way.
Nor by the flesh, but by the will
I'm just gonna go by nobody
of God. And so salvation
is the Paul himself is a Benjamite. Romans, I believe, is either 9:1 or 10:11. No, it's Romans 9:1. All right. So if the ethnicity of Paul didn't matter, he would not state that he is a Benjamite. All right, from the seed of Israel. Ethnicity or where you come from does matter. And here it is. Here it is, an Israelite who's tearing up his own people from their own salvation. Amazing, huh? But a lot of these are just bootleg dogs that's protecting their master.
is not in ethnicity. It's not in any work that you do. Salvation is the result of having faith in Christ. And this is why, John,
Having faith in Yahweh Shai. But faith without works is dead. So you just gonna say, "Oh, I just believe in Yahweh Shai, that's it," or in his case, state Christ, and that's it. You're not gonna put no work, and that is where the church loses the people. All right. So you're just gonna say, "I believe I'm gonna eat pork, I'm gonna commit adultery, I'm gonna do all this other shit," and but I believe in. No, it don't work like that. All right. The Lord's coming back to judge everybody by the works, by their works. All right.
says that to everyone who believes in him, to them he gave power.
How are you gonna believe in him when he was the people that you're claiming was never one of his? Deuteronomy 18th chapter, when it speaks of somebody that comes as Moses, first of all, Moses said, "Out of thy brethren," all right, and that's who you should follow. So the world wasn't the Lord's brethren. The Lord made a statement so that he didn't come but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So the people that had supposed to believe in him was the same people that was in darkness, the same people that was waiting for him thousands of years ago. All right, from the very beginning. These other nations have no part in the Lord, period.
Become the sons of God, as many as have.
Which there was only one group of sons of the Most High. All right. And those sons with Israel. Because of Yahweh Shai's sacrifice, like it says in Galatians, was it the 4th chapter? That we could call on the name, can't call on our father Abba. All right. So the Lord adopted us back. Yahweh Shai helped reconcile that relationship that we were supposed to have. These people are not knowing the scriptures. They don't not. They're trying to involve everything else. So you basically telling you're doomed, telling the rest of the people that they're doomed, and you just gotta accept the fact that you sit outside of the temple. All right, and you have no evidence to back up that these people over there in that particular land is the people. They don't fit the descriptions. And then you quote me from something from the New Testament, which they don't even believe in. Matter of fact, they don't even believe in the Old Testament. They believe in the Talmud. There's so much holes into this thing.
Believed in his name. So salvation is not about being an ethnic Israelite. Salvation is about being a child of God. And that is something that is accomplished through faith, in which God adopts us into his family. And so if you're an Israelite, that's fine.
So he just got rid of his children and just adopted everybody else. I'm about to get Romans 11 again.
but that won't save you. Only faith in Christ will.
And that's why the churches lose. Because the church, he just completely demolished what the scriptures is about. Romans 11:1, it says, I say then, have the Most High cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin. But according to that guy, it doesn't matter, right? The Most High have not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Won't you not what the scriptures have said of Elias, how he maketh an intercession to the Most High against Israel, saying, the Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of the Lord unto him? I reserved to myself 7,000 men whom have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. And why did Paul bring up that perfect example? Because during this time, it was only Israel in the land. So the Lord said he held 7,000 men that didn't bow. So which was what? A representation of the elect of the nation of Israel. Revelation, the 14th chapter tells you 144,000. All right. So the 144,000 today, they're going to bow the knee to Baal or to this world. But they're what? They're Israelites. Now, people say, what of a mixed multitude? They were Israelites. It's not just about the 144,000. How logical sense does that make? Just the 144,000 men. What about the women and children? See, because these people, they don't know the scriptures. They know how to lie, but they don't know. Even so, then at this present time, also there's a remnant according to the election of grace. And if by grace there is no more of works, otherwise grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it shall no more be grace. And we're in a grace period. That's why we fall short. All right. It says, otherwise work is no more work. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. The rest were who? The rest of Israel. So just to narrow it down, the Lord is only concerned about Israel. Israel, Israel, Israel. The scriptures about Israel from the beginning to the end. The forefathers of the Israelites was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Prior to them being called Israel, they were called of God. All right. There's reincarnation in the scriptures, and every personnel has been here multiple times. Okay, and they always came back into the same nation that they were dealing with. Point blank period. So with that being said, shalom to the elected nations. Shalom.